First order of business is pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next thing is visitor comments.
I got a comment, I don't know if you want to wait to the end, about the RFQ that's going out. We could talk about it later, or we could talk about it now, I don't care.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so if you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it now.
Okay. So Eric sent me this draft copy of the RFQ for the, it's really an OPM or owner project manager.
It's what you gave us.
Yeah. So I did some digging around on it, and I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but it is a state law that you've got to hire one of these guys. And I don't know, maybe you got this, maybe you don't. That's the state guideline for doing it. Now, what kind of bugs me about this a little bit is USDA should have known this. The question is, where's the money going to come from for paying this?
Well, initially it was in the documents with the USDA to have one.
Yeah.
Well, so are you talking about the oversight, $65,000 a year oversight guy?
Yeah.
Well, so that, in the letter of conditions, talks about that. But, so that's under financial and sewer management oversight. It says, as required in the original letter of conditions, you are required to contract with independent third parties for annual oversight of 1, town accounting and financial practices, and 2, for management oversight for the operation of the sewer department. That, if I remember right, was really a guy that was supposed to oversee it once it was completed.
Correct.
This, what you're asking for, is somebody to oversee the construction.
So not even oversee it though, Eric, what we're looking for is a liaison between the project and the town. Not someone that's gonna micromanage the project per se, but just some accountability for us, you know, for the town.
Well, I get that, which you should
Yeah.
have, but I
Right.
think it actually goes far beyond that when you look at the mass
This?
law that deals with the
DPCs are.
owner's project manager law. And I'll just read the first 2 sentences of it. It just says, effective July 19th, 2004, Chapter 193 of the Acts of 2004, inserted a new provision, Mass General Law, Chapter 149, which governs public bidding and procurement. The new provision requires, and they highlighted it and underlined it, requires public awarding authorities to engage the services of an owner project management on all building projects estimated at a cost of $1.5 million or more. So you're required to have a, if you want to call it a clerk of the works or whatever you want to call it, but everybody calls it this OPM guy, person, to oversee the actual construction of it, which is what you, if I read it right,
That's what we're trying
want.
to gather information and find somebody to do that.
It also says at the end of that, that you can actually hire somebody from internally, provided that they meet all the requirements. But if you're gonna put it out, so
I think USDA is acting on the premise that DPC is in fact that person.
well, so that
We, as a town, as a board, want someone to act as a liaison between them and us, and just, you know, keep everybody here,
Keep track.
and
Right.
keep track of everything, right?
which you should have. The thing is, DPC is the oversight. DPC has an oversight element of this. This is an independent, it's required to have an independent third party
do this. And that's what we're talking about.
Right.
There.
Right.
So what
So
we
this
need-
goes with, I mean, you have DPC, the engineering, you got DPC acting as the oversight of the contractor. That's what they're supposed to do. But then you have to have this OPM guy, person,
Right,
to oversee everybody.
right. And I think, if I may, what we've been looking for is how to ask for that. We're not,
So, I dug around, and this is the town of Situate. And the reason I copied this is because this is for the construction of a $25 million wastewater treatment facility. So, just a few million less than what we're talking about. But that gives you an idea of what, and there's also another 15 pages of forms that go with it. I didn't make all that. But that gives you an idea of what I think this should look like. I don't know, I'm not trying to make it work, but what I would do is I'd put this in some program and I would change Situate to Hardwick.
Can I say something? So if we were using our own funding and going out and getting our own, contractor, we weren't using USDA, we weren't using their money, we weren't using, DPC, then we would absolutely have an OPM, we would hire an OPM just like Situate did to oversee the everyday project. DPC is the OPM on this project. I am an MCPPO, I'm very well aware of what needs to be done, what project, and what thresholds need to be.
You can't have,
They absolutely are the OPM. They have 2 people on the ground, we have their resumes. The board is choosing to hire somebody to be a liaison. USDA has relaxed that requirement and is not requiring them to do it. I said to the USDA, the board still wants to have some oversight. They want to have somebody just there kind of, keeping an eye. And they said, oh, well, that's good. We were fine with you not having it.
you can't have DPC engineer it, oversee the contractors, and then oversee of the contractors and the engineers. You can't do it.
Why can't you? Can you tell me why?
Well, A, I think it's state law, number one.
I'm
And
going to
number
tell you
two,
that
why
I wouldn't go against state law, and neither would USDA.
Okay,
well, I think if I may break this up, that we're agreed to be looking for some person to work for us to look at this, right? Or do we want to go back over that?
With the qualifications
Right.
to, with a certain degree of qualifications that can oversee a project, yes.
Yeah, if we had a town engineer, we wouldn't have to go look for this.
True. I mean, I don't want to indulge too deep into this because it seems like this is a whole,
Yeah, it got bigger than I...
like a whole meeting thing.
Maybe for our next meeting with
Yeah.
sewer,
Why don't we look at this,
Okay.
read
and
through it,
digest it.
and digest it, and then maybe.
well, I would just find out for sure before you start reaching out with an RFP that doesn't,
We don't have an
Sounds
RFP
fine.
on tonight's schedule, so maybe we'll put that on next week's schedule and
okay.
we'll go through it. Thank you for the legwork.
Thanks for doing that.
You're
And a
welcome.
nice paper. Real nice paper.
That is some heavy duty paper.
I don't buy cheap paper. I can't freeze.
I used to use it for cartridges.
Any other visitor comments before I move on? Yes, ma'am?
I would love to, we had a mini tornado or a microburst come to our block and across the pond and from the Greenwich Plains Road area, and knocked down 2 old trees on the wires, and there was spaghetti wire everywhere. And I want to really commend Marty and the highway department of this town. They came in there, it happened at 7:01 on Friday evening, and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. we had power back and the internet too. And I just watching the whole thing happened between the time it hit and 11 at night in the dark, and having the tree company come and cut down these huge branches crossing the road, holding the wires down and crossing below us. It was just amazing. It was better than any athletic event. And the final act was Marty taking the chainsaw and cutting the wires to clear the road. So it was great. Thank you.
And he got Rich Glidden to help him with that.
Yeah, it was
Rich Glidden came in
great.
to help drive some of that stuff. I went out there today. It was serious business. You got hit real hard out there.
How did he cut the wires?
With the chainsaw,
Seriously?
seriously, sparks and everything.
It's technical.
Yeah.
Well, the power was off, but
Don't try this at home, kind of thing?
The guy in the yellow truck says it's dead. It's not dead. So he must have said.
what?
The guy in the yellow truck, he says it's live. It's still live until he says it's dead. But I'm sure it was dead.
Oh, yes.
Otherwise, he'd be dead. So,
Exactly. And so were a bunch of others. It was incredible.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. New business, Trail of Treats on Saturday, October 28th, 5:30 PM. Rain date, Sunday, the 29th, same time.
I'm okay with that, and Lauren Mace did say that she reached out to the chief, and he was okay with those time, as long as we were.
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Sounds good to me. I don't think we need to vote on it. Just
I would just, I can certainly respond to the email that we got in.
thank you. All right, any other new business? I don't think you had any, Nicole. All right, so meeting minutes approval. We have executive session for 8/28/23.
I would make a motion to approve the executive session minutes from 8/28/23.
Got a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And then just the regular meeting.
yeah, meeting minutes from August 28th.
I would also make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from August 28th in regular open session.
Got a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, old business? We have none. Committee reports? We got one from the library,
Yeah,
police department. Administrator, highway department, sorry. Highway department, fire department.
Assessor. Did you have the assessor one? There's an assessor one.
Maybe stuck in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like one page.
Maybe stuck in the back there.
There it is. Yeah.
And the assessor. Anything you guys want to discuss on any of this stuff?
Okay.
Thank you for putting those together. If anybody's here who did them. Any miscellaneous correspondence?
just Comcast channel changes. If anybody's interested, they can come in.
Okay. Your report, Nicole?
The Wheelwright wastewater treatment plant went out to bid on Wednesday, September 5th. They're due back October 18th at 9 a.m. We already advertised for sub-bidders and general contractors for Gilbertville. You got those results. The repayment is still being discussed, as is the oversight. And that's basically it for the USDA. You approved jobs for highway at the last meeting. They've been posted. The full description's on the website. We hadn't had any applications as of last week. I didn't see anybody today. But if anybody is looking, or anybody knows anybody that is a highway, worker, we could really use some help. We're exploring new heating options for this building. We're gonna have to deal with this heating system this year. RJ McDonald is coming out next week. I'm still waiting to hear from a couple other contractors. As we know, or maybe you don't know, I haven't put these on, but I do town manager segments on WARE. I rotate with 4 other managers, and mine for September and October are September 14th and October 19th. It's at 8:45 a.m. on Thursdays. That's the town manager segment on the 97.7. Last Friday, there was a Cannabis Control Commission public hearing regarding new draft regulations. Cities and towns in Mass are opposed to the draft regulations as they impede the local jurisdiction. We sent written testimony, to at least not retro and take away the current HCA's that we have with cannabis companies. We only have one, but it's not gone into effect yet, but they will possibly be taking the 3% away from us. And there'll be a formal ribbon cutting for the extension of the Central Mass Rail Trail at the end of September. I just heard this afternoon that there will be invitations going out. It's going to be September 26th. It's a Tuesday, no time yet. And then everything else is just ongoing.
Thank you. We got anything for signatures?
I just have one for you to sign. It's a reimbursement for me because I can't sign my own reimbursements. It's for certified mail that I sent this week. Thank you.
Anything the board wants to discuss in the roundtable?
I was thinking over the weekend that we haven't had one of our meetings with department heads in a while, and I think I was due to be next, but I don't know if you would like to hold
Sure.
one as a new member. You've been to one that I've done, just kind of casual, and if you
Yep.
bring cookies, they come.
If I bring cookies, they come.
Or Nicole grabs some for you.
All right.
But if you want to maybe coordinate a date with Nicole,
Yep.
I think we normally did it here.
Thursdays usually, right?
Wednesday, it doesn't matter, whatever works for you, Eric, yeah.
Right.
At 3, so that it's not,
To get out on time.
making everybody's day too,
So we don't have
later.
to feed lunch.
Right, there you go.
Okay,
Well,
But if
something
you,
like that.
I was thinking that over the weekend, that we haven't done one of those in a while,
Good.
might be
good.
a good idea. That's the only thing I had, I think. My brain's kind of mush right now.
I'm on the Capital Planning Committee. We're gonna have a meeting next week. We'll have a bunch of submissions of needs and wants. Mark Korzick sent out kind of a simple chart, to all the departments, and what list in priority, years estimated cost in round figures, just a way to start looking at what we will need over the next year, over the next 10 years. So I thought I'd ask the selectmen if we should submit something that we'd like to say we could just say new water treatment facilities, multi-millions of dollars, ASAP,
New buildings.
something like that, but I thought I'd give you a chance to put in something. Send it to me if you want, and I'll bring it to the meeting.
New municipal building,
Or at least rehabbed.
Looks a bunch of stuff.
right? New heating system.
I have nothing to add, so. Next thing is adjournment.
I'd like to bring up Mr. Romano. He's here hoping to be appointed to the ZBA. His application.
I have to tell you now, I feel it's a conflict, because I got an email from somebody saying this was related to the landfill.
So you feel you're conflicted and not able to appoint?
Well, the way the email was sent to me, that the reason we didn't appoint was because of the landfill, and I don't know how to kind of take that. So I was gonna.
I don't think that's
see
true.
about
If
that.
it's not true, you can ignore it.
Well, then I'm like, well,
And to be honest, I've had someone reach out wondering if we were gonna have a conversation about that again, and I think it should be on the agenda if we're
Right.
gonna have a conversation about it again,
Okay.
and to address anyone
yeah,
that
I
has
just-
requested. I just think it should be on the agenda because that's what I told that person, that, you know, if we were gonna discuss it again, it would be visible.
yes.
Okay, I understand what you're both saying
Yeah,
and
this is-
caution, but I hope we don't get politicized to the point where we can't act on anything. I mean, it doesn't all have to do with various,
People are certainly making it that way,
Yes.
people are trying.
so, yes, they are.
It just kind of throws a curveball sometimes, what you're trying to do.
Well, sorry if you're on those
But
positions.
maybe we could get some opinion on that and, you know, legal opinion on that, and then have it
Yes.
on our next agenda.
Do we have, it's not critical for time, ZBA.
No,
No.
as far as I know, there's nothing been brought up about the ZBA as far as that's concerned.
When's our next meeting?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Good.
Yeah, so it's not.
Yeah.
I was hoping we didn't have a meeting next week.
No.
And you're gonna put the RFQ stuff
Yeah, I
in,
have
just to make sure
Yeah.
it's on the next meeting.
Yeah.
We'll put on the ZBA.
Yeah, we should.
First, I don't wanna appoint anybody to anything right now, because it's gonna just accused of being a political reason.
If it's bullshit, it's bullshit, doesn't matter what.
And make a motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Nicole.
I'll take whatever you guys don't want.
I'm always.
Okay, good.
If you want, I understand that you printed them out.
I'll tell her.
Knees?
I will.
Yeah.
Or for some reason I don't, I would always,
Okay.
let you know.
Where,
Okay. Where are you?
Wellesley,
In what, New Welleslly?
yeah, I did my gift.
Yeah.
What page
Doing
did
my,
it,
doing my,
you meant?
duty.
Yeah. Not like Eric over here.
What?
You know, it's
20-pound bond paper.
You get the bill.
It does, makes great cartridges.
As a municipality, you know, and as a Massachusetts Public Procurement Officer certified, I buy cheap paper.
Exactly.
Because I have to.
I can't stand cheap paper.
Your everyday.
Although I have to
life,
say,
you know.
when I print something stupid
Well,
or temporary,
hi,
I just print it in.
Yeah, we do. But you did something beautiful.
I can give it to you tomorrow. I mean, I can give it to you anytime it's over, so.
okay.
I didn't, I missed what the results were.
I do something about that.
The meeting's that long enough, they won't be done with dishes.
No rush.
Yeah, so,
Well, they're, you know, it's typically in the summer, it's, you know, the business is a little
Yeah.
bit slower. I'm working on grants and things like that, things with the state, so, there's not a lot of business going on in usually August, so.
Just
This fall is when we
When you
start
run
really
back,
picking up again, and the
focus on
agenda's a
that.
bit bigger,
Well, that's what I think, yeah.
but that's that.
I'm sad that we have another abbreviation, but
Okay, see you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
so, happy 9/11.
Yeah.
That's right, I know you, I thought you were gonna say something.
No.
Just,
Just start tearing up anyway. Huh?
We should have had a moment of silence.
Well, we're at half-mast, I believe that's the
we
right.
are, just until sunset should
Well,
be
we'll
good.
put it up in the morning.
The police do it for us, because
Good.
they're here 24/7, so
Good.
sometimes it's
I
weekends,
didn't know if that
whatever.
was like mandated or what.
It's mandated, I get an email, it's only mandated on state buildings and town halls.
Well, that's good. That's good. They were fire stations draped in black for a year. Couldn't drive around, couldn't commute back to Sears.
Yeah,
Well, I would have dropped a line on the memorial.
yeah, it's only the town halls are only required. I ask sometimes that the police do it for everybody, but they don't.
Yeah.